been a tough season from the Test team, and it's been a while since our last victory. But this week we trained hard, and obviously there was a good feeling in the camp that we've done some really good stuff before the Test match, and we knew we needed to put in some performances to obviously get the thing running, get the engine running. And I thought this, in all departments, we were really good this Test match. England were good at stages as well, but the way that we, especially the last 2 days when the wicket did get a little bit flatter, the way the guys are skilled was just remarkable, consistent all the time. Yeah, so it's a good start, and that's what we needed. We needed a good start to get our confidence back as a Test team. So very happy to sit here after that first one.
It's been frustrating. I think it's been quite a big year of transition in Test cricket. There's been a lot of change throughout the cycle, if you like, of over the year. And you look at where we were at the back end of Sri Lanka, you thought we were really making strides away from home, and still believe that there are a number of signs of things that have improved, but there's still a long way for this team to go, and still very much looking at areas we can get better at. And it's a determined group of players that are very keen to do that. You can't fault anyone's effort, anyone's desire, character to want to improve. And over time, if we can learn these lessons, and find ways of shifting our mentality into the first innings from the second innings, a bit like we did in the second game in New Zealand, then we're going to give ourselves a much better chance of winning games.
I think as a team, we don't have a lot of superstars. Obviously, you would say that guys like KG and Vern is superstars in their own right. But as a team, you take a lot more from victories where everyone contributes in their own way. Small things like Nortje getting 40 with a bat is even more pleasing, because those are the kind of things that really put a team down from a collective point of view. Our bowling unit was exceptional. All of them put their hand up to put in small contributions to make the bowling unit perform really well over the last 2 days. I said in the post-match that I thought the last 2 days the wicket played at its best because of the sun not being there and the wicket not being dry. And it needed us to be really on top of our game. So collectively, I thought our bowlers was exceptional this game.
The ideal scenario is you've got people pushing them all the time, trying to make sure that they're constantly trying to get better and improve themselves. And they've got fantastic records behind them, and they've produced some fantastic things for England in the very recent past. I think you don't want to wish those guys away, and you don't want to look at back and think force Jimmy Anderson out when you look at it physically, and he seems in fantastic fettle, and he's got brilliant record in these conditions as well. So similarly with Stewart, I think it's a fine balance. I think you've got to look at the surface, look at an attack which you feel is going to best counter that and best counter the opposition you come up against. And if difficult decisions have to be made down the line, then they will be. But if they don't, they won't. It'd be silly to push fantastic experience and a wealth of knowledge of fast bowling out the door when there's no need to.
It's just so much easier for me to control bowlers, to work with different bowlers if you do have an all-rounder in your side. Last year we played a little bit around with Vian Mulder at the time. So yes, it's definitely something moving forward that in South Africa is very important. A guy that can bowl you between 10 and 15 overs and can score runs. Obviously, Dwaine domestically has batted the best out of all the all-rounders. He scored the most runs. His stats is there. It's there to prove that he's probably the best batting all-rounder. And this game, he was brilliant. The way that he controlled his 10 to 15 overs every innings, going at 1.5s and 2s, is exactly what we needed as a team. Normally in the past, even on a wicket that didn't spin, I had to go to Kesh, throw him the ball, and luckily enough, he's always produced. But on conditions like that, obviously it's a little bit more suited for seam bowlers. So as a team, we're much more balanced with something like that. So now it's about growing more all-rounders in the country. That's why Andy is also here, trying to improve his game, working with some really good batting coaches. As I said before, I feel his bowling is good enough to be a test player. And in batting, it's just about getting him to understand how to score runs. He's still very, very young. He hasn't played a lot of first-class cricket, and he'll get there. It's just about making sure you put some great minds around with him, and then he'll grow.
Yeah, I think all the illness has created a bit of a problem for us, especially for Jack. It's been a really tough month or so for him, going downhill in New Zealand as well, coming here, just getting himself right and ready for the warm-up games, and then becoming ill again. It's really sad, actually. It's really hard for him, and he's trying to deal with it as best he can. And we're trying to manage that as best we can as well. We've called some very able backup in Dom Best. We've got Matt Parkinson as well as another option that we can turn to. And we'll turn up at Cape Town and we'll make a decision when we've looked at the surface, seen the conditions, and make sure we feel we've got the best balanced attack to take 20 wickets again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we as a top order need to score the bulk of the runs. So that's one thing we need to improve on, that if we take away from this test match. As I said, yesterday and today was probably the two best batting days for both teams. But the way that Quinny played in the first innings is why Quinny is such a good player. He's one of the very few players in the world that can come in and completely transfer the pressure back onto the other team. So we are very fortunate to have him in that position. 6 and 7 is where he's been so good for us for so long on this test team. But yes, a big thing that the coaching staff has worked on is making sure that our lower order contributes, not being scared of the pace, getting in good positions, because a lot of the times test matches gets won and lost there, and this was a great example. The partnership between Anrich and Rassie was 90 odd runs and we won by 100 runs. So keep making sure that we put in the hard work there, but yes, definitely the bulk of the runs need to come from the top 6.